I'm Jenny. I've been doing a carnivore diet experiment since December 2022, and I've currently lost almost 50 pounds, but it has not been a linear path down in weight. I've had a series of weight loss stalls during my carnivore journey, and I talk to people every single day here on YouTube, in my carnivore community, and my coaching clients that have experienced the exact same thing. Some people think when they go on carnivore that they're not going to experience the dreaded weight loss stall, but it can still happen even on carnivore because typically it's related to more than just food. In today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I got the scale moving again. I'm also going to share with you why I think the scale stalled in the first place. And I'll finish up with some tips that you can implement to get that scale moving in the right direction again. I've had 3 weight loss stalls during my almost 2 years on carnivore. My first was in April 2023. I was stuck between 173 and 178 pounds until June, and then I started going down in weight again. My second weight loss stall was September through November 2023. I had several cheat meals that slowed me down during that period of time, and I was stuck between 163 and 165. I started losing weight again from December 2023 until about February, where I encountered my most recent weight loss stall. I've basically stayed between 152.6 to 159 since February. So why was I encountering these weight loss stalls? I thought it was so many different things, but now I am almost 100% sure it was Hashimoto's hypothyroid. My very first weight loss stall aligned with some extreme fatigue and hair loss. I lost about 30% of my hair April through June 2023. The second stall I think was mostly stress and inconsistency. And the third stall that started, around February, that coincided with some extreme fatigue. I think the trigger for my Hashimoto's hypothyroid was my twin pregnancy and all of the hormonal shifts that came along with that. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's while filming a video with Dr. Amy Horniman. Let's take a look at a clip of that.
So with your antibodies, Jenny, you have Hashimoto's.
Oh, well, that's not surprising.
So in August, I made some changes that have allowed me to get past 152.6 on the scale. I am now 149 to 150 pounds, and I'm losing about a pound a week again. Let's go through everything I did first, and then I'll give you some actionable tips that you can use to get over your carnivore weight loss stall. The very first thing I did was implement a supplement routine. For thyroid issues, certain supplements are very important. I do not have the opinion that you can't supplement if you're on carnivore, that it means that, carnivore is deficient if you're supplementing. I do not agree with that. That is simply not true. Right now, I am supplementing with iodine 3 times a week. I'm either doing a drop of the 5% Lugol's 3 times a week, or I'm doing one 12.5 milligram iodine pill. I will link those in the description below. I did a 24-hour iodine loading test. I'll put a link to that video right up here and in the description below. Basically, it's one of the most accurate tests that you can do to see if you're deficient in iodine, and I'm not that deficient, so I'm not supplementing with very much iodine. Next up, I'm taking 2 different B vitamins. I'm taking the De Novo B12 plus folate, and I'm taking a B complex that has all of the other B vitamins in it. The reason I do this is I have an MTRR genetic mutation. This is similar to the MTHFR mutation that you may have heard about. Basically, I cannot methylate B vitamins very well, so despite eating a lot of red meat, my B12 and my folate were always kind of low. They were okay, but they were a little bit low. So I have been taking methylated B vitamins just to get that up to where it needs to be, give my body everything it needs to, do what it needs to do. Next up, I'm taking a selenium, and that is related to the thyroid. I'm also doing beef organs 2 to 3 days a week to just get all the vitamins and minerals that are part of that. I absolutely hate liver, so I'm just taking the supplements. I'm also doing magnesium several times a week. I do Element electrolytes, and I get a lot of my magnesium from them, but I'm also supplementing with magnesium glycinate. Next up, I'm taking vitamin D. I'm doing 5,000 IUs 5 times per week, and also taking a K2 along with that. And then I'm doing 3 of Dr. Amy's supplements. I'm doing the Thyroid Fixer. This is a T2 supplement. I'm also doing her Hashimoto's Fixer. That's a black cumin seed oil, and that helps to reduce the antibodies, thyroid antibodies. And then I'm also taking pregnenolone from Dr. Amy, and I've thrown in, finally, some berberine. I'm currently working with Dr. Amy's team. It's been amazing. I am not affiliated with them whatsoever, but I have been having an amazing experience with her team. Very, very helpful to be working with people that actually know what the heck they're talking about when it comes to thyroid and other hormone health. So we just did a bunch of blood work. I'll be talking about that in a later video, and we are working to incorporate some thyroid hormones along with other hormones that I may need. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of that fun blood work, because that is coming up in the next couple of weeks. In addition to supplementation, I've also dialed in a few lifestyle habits. For me, I follow carnivore. I've just been trying to be very, very, very strict with that. So, if you're doing carnivore, you're not eating gluten, you're not eating vegetable seed oils, you're not eating ultra-processed foods, all of which can exacerbate your thyroid condition. This also means that I am not consuming any dairy. Dairy is highly inflammatory, especially for those that are experiencing thyroid issues. So as much as possible, I have cut out the dairy. I'm doing a keto cheat meal once a month as usual. I've been doing that the entire time I've been doing carnivore. So that's basically just some vegetables, a salad, or something that goes along with a steak or whatever meat I'm eating for the day. I'm also doing a lot of fasting in the form of sardine fasts. I just released a video, I think last week, on that, and I have been experimenting with varying lengths of sardine fasting. I'll talk more about that here in a minute. As far as exercise, I've been strength training 3 to 4 days per week. I like to lift heavy until failure, so I'll do 3 sets until I fail at them. I'm doing Stairmaster occasionally. I like to do this glute routine that's on one of the Stairmaster machines. I also do sprints and some zone 2 training, and then I am walking 3 to 4 days a week, typically about 3 miles. In addition to that, I'm trying to get sunlight when I can. It is now fully fall here in the Chicagoland area, and our sunlight is just depressing around here, so that's kind of fallen to the wayside. Anytime I go to the gym, I'm also hitting the sauna for 15 to 20 minutes. As far as sleep goes, really dialed that in. I am taking 2 milligrams of melatonin around 7 to 8 p.m. and I'm trying to get my sleep mask on my eyeballs by 9:15 to 9:30. Does that happen every night? No. It certainly does not, especially if we're catching up on The Penguin on Max, because holy crap, that show's amazing. But I'm really trying to get as much sleep as possible. I do not drink regularly. I think the last time I had a drink was in August. I probably won't drink again until sometime next year. I do not smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. I don't do any drugs, nothing like that. I'm complete straight edge at 40. It's kind of amazing. In the morning, I've been trying to practice some gratitude, doing journaling, and working on reading some stoicism. I drink black decaf coffee in the morning. I drink tons of water. I run all of our tap water through the Berkey water filter, and I have filters on it that filter out chloride and fluoride and all of those toxic halides. I'm also drinking a ton of electrolytes in the form of Celtic sea salt and also Element electrolytes, and I'd like to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Element has everything you need and nothing you don't, with 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I've been drinking their new sparkling water every single day, typically 1 or 2 of these. And now that it's fall, the chocolate medley is back. This is chocolate mint, chocolate chai, and chocolate raspberry. All of these can be enjoyed hot. I also like to put these into my butter bites to make a nice chocolate flavor. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. So head to the link in the description. It's drinkelement.com/Jenny Mitich. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Jenny Mitich. Pick up a box of this delicious chocolate medley or whatever else you want, and you can get your free sample pack with any order today. During the implementation of the supplements and the lifestyle habits, I did all of that in August. Also in the month of August, I did a month of reverse dieting, which just means that I ate very high calorie and very high fat carnivore. This summer was incredibly stressful for me. I had a family member that was in the hospital for a month, and I basically lived at the hospital with them as their caregiver. To say that I was stressed out this summer was the understatement of the year. So instead of trying to lose weight in the month of August, I just focused on eating, allowing me to get all of the nutrients I needed and allowing my body to reset after an incredibly stressful summer. After the month of reverse dieting, I went into a 7-day sardine fast. I did this as an experiment first and foremost. I honestly didn't know if I could do it, and I wanted to see what would happen. When I first started, I wasn't aiming for 7 days. I was actually only aiming for 3, but I ended up going 7, and it was a lot easier than I thought. I went from 154.6 to 148.2 pounds in 7 days, and after I returned to regular carnivore, I only went back up to 151 to 152. So I finally broke through that stall. I've done 5 or 6 more sardine fasts of varying lengths, and when I go back to my regular carnivore eating, I am now between 149 and 150 pounds. I'll link my sardine fast results video at the end of this one if you would like to learn more about sardine fasting. I've been waiting to make this video for a really long time because I wanted to actually make it past my weight loss stall consistently, and I wanted to have some some actionable steps for you to try. Here's my action plan for you if you've run into a carnivore weight loss stall that's lasted more than 6 to 8 weeks. If it hasn't been that long, it's probably not a weight loss stall. The very first thing I want you to do is cut the dairy. It's the most common reason you won't lose weight on carnivore. And if you have any kind of thyroid issue, dairy is going to be highly inflammatory for you. My next tip is if you have been doing a lot of calorie restriction, I recommend a month of reverse dieting. You will refill your nutrient stores and allow your body to know that it's not experiencing a famine. If your body thinks it's starving, it's going to hold on to every ounce of fat that it can until it absolutely has to release it, like if you were truly starving. Restricting calories for too long and too often can also be very stressful for your body, and that could be another reason that you are not losing any fat. Will you gain weight with reverse dieting? Almost certainly, but you'll also take some stress off your body, and we're playing the long game here. So there's a reason that you want to increase your caloric intake before you start restricting again. After a month of reverse dieting, drop your caloric intake to within 100 to 200 calories of your TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure. I've linked a free TDEE calculator in the description below. You're just going to input some information and it's going to spit out your daily maintenance amount of calories. Now take this with a grain of salt though. Calories are truly hard to estimate, but this will just give you a starting point. My TDEE is 2,132. So if I keep my caloric intake between 1,900 and 2,000 calories per day, I'm typically losing. What I like to do is cycle back and forth between reverse dieting and then slight caloric restriction. Now, if none of that works, or you just want to jumpstart your system, try a sardine fast. A 3, 5, or 7-day sardine fast can help reset your system. For me, that's what helped me get over my latest weight loss stall, despite still dealing with the Hashimoto's hypothyroid. After the fast, you can go back to just regular carnivore, or you can try a few days of reverse dieting if you do a longer fast, just so that your body doesn't think that it's experiencing a famine and you can refill your nutrients again. If none of that works, I recommend getting some blood work. A common thyroid symptom is either gaining weight or not being able to lose weight. If you're also experiencing fatigue and or hair loss, it could be a thyroid issue. Here's what you need to get tested to get a full picture. You need TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, TPO, and thyroglobulin antibodies. I would also recommend doing a 24-hour iodine loading test so you can see if you're deficient in iodine. And then I'd want to take a look at a fasting insulin, a comprehensive metabolic panel, an A1C, a lipid panel, and if you have them in your area, I would recommend getting a DEXA scan as well so you can see what your visceral fat levels are. You can get all of this blood work online at ownyourlabs.com, and I have a 10% off coupon code for you as well. It's not an affiliate link. I don't get anything for it. I just wanted to make sure that if you wanted to get some blood work done, that you could get a bit of a discount. I think it's vitally important for people to be well acquainted with their blood work numbers. The thing with a thyroid panel is all of your numbers can be within range and you can still have a thyroid issue. What you really want is to be in the optimal range. I'll put a link to my full thyroid blood work video so that you can get an idea of what those ranges are. Dr. Amy and I start to talk about those ranges around the 14-minute mark in that video. But in addition to your thyroid panel, there's a few other markers that I mentioned. If your fasting insulin is in the double digits, if your fasting glucose is above 100, if your A1C is above 5.6, and your triglycerides are above 100 despite eating a very strict carnivore diet, and I'm saying strict, no cheats, no nothing like that. You've been doing all the things, but your numbers are still elevated. That indicates to me that you have some lingering insulin resistance, and the very best way to take care of that is to incorporate some aggressive fasting. That's why I also recommend getting a DEXA scan so that you can get an idea of what your true visceral fat numbers are. If you have elevated visceral fat, so that's the fat that's inside your body around your organs. If you have elevated visceral fat levels, that's an indication of insulin resistance, and you need to reduce that visceral fat as much as possible. I recommend going on a very strict fasting routine, so 4 days of fasting and then 3 days of high-fat carnivore eating, rinse and repeat for a month. And then recheck all of your vitals and see where you're at. If your numbers are still elevated, I think you need to be a bit more aggressive. 5 days of fasting, 2 days of high-fat carnivore eating, do that for a month and see what happens. I would repeat that process until you got down to your goal weight. My fifth and final tip is it could also be something environmental, like chronic inflammatory response syndrome due to mold, pollution, something in the air, water. It could be so many different things. You also need to be sure to take a look at your stress and your sleep levels, and also think about, have you had any major life changes recently that have been causing you a lot of turmoil? All of those things can influence a weight loss stall. I hope all of these tips have been helpful. I think it just goes to show that carnivore is not a magic bullet. It's not going to solve every single one of your issues. And you may still run into weight loss stalls. So don't get discouraged, get curious, and try implementing some of these tips. Remember that you need to give each of these interventions some time, and don't give up. My last weight loss stall was 7 months long, and I'm finally losing again. If you'd like more information on sardine fasting, I'll put that video right here. And if you'd like more information about testing for iodine deficiency, I'll put that video right here. Be sure to let me know if you have any questions in the comments section below. I love hearing from you. And I'd like to give a special shout out to all of my channel members. If you'd like to support the work that I do and see your name at the end of my videos, head over to the links in the description. You can join the channel memberships either through YouTube or Patreon. Your membership allows me to work on this channel full time, and I thank you so much for your continued support. With that, I'll see you in the next video.